Guys, lately I've received several locks that have really humbled me, I have to say. And I want to show you a couple of locks. I think it's about time I showed you the locks that have been stumbling blocks for me, show you some of the unique design features. I'm going to show you two locks that were designed by Gilbert Vaquera. Now, the first one I did manage to get picked after many hours of trial and error, and I am convinced, of course, that it was luck that I finally got into it. You've heard the old saying that even a pig can find a mushroom, and I think if I play with a lock long enough, eventually I'm going to stumble onto it. The first one, as I said, I did manage to get open, and the second one I have not, but I'm still going to show you the innards. Gilbert first found a high quality lock. He took a Sargent, which has very good tolerances, and then before he even began on it, he made a couple of improvements. The first improvement is that he threaded every single one of the chambers in the body of the lock. And then second, he took the core, and if we can get some camera cooperation, you'll see that he threaded chambers 1 and 6. And then he counter-milled all of the other chambers. So I'm thinking that Gilbert is a dentist, because the detail and he would have to get a very tiny grinder to get up inside of there. It's just amazing. Very well done. They're all equal, and the edges are very sharp to catch the pins. The third thing that he did is he got a key that is probably some of the most extreme bitting I have ever seen. So it's a 6-pinner. And you can see wide variation. So this is another one of the tricks. Okay, these are what I would expect from a challenge lock. What I didn't expect is when Gilbert let his imagination run wild on this pinning. Just amazing. Let me zoom in on this just a little bit, and then I'm going to show you the pins up close. I have it divided right here, and on the bottom, even though you're seeing 2 pins on many of these, those are the key pins. And every one of them that has 2 pieces, there are 4 of them here. I'm just going to take this one as an example. You'll notice that in the key pin itself, he has bored it out. And then the second part of that pin, if I can get my chubby finger up there, and it slides into it just like that. So you can see it's actually a 2-part key pin. Just slides in there very nicely, very precise, and as it turns out, very difficult to pick. All of them, of course, have serrations that are designed to catch either the serrated or, of course, the counter-milled. Now, these pins, when you pick them, what will happen is you pick it, you'll hear the click, and the bottom of the key pin will fall back down into the keyway. So you'll think, wow, I just got that one picked, that was easy. But in reality, what's happened is that one of those serrations has got caught up in either the threads or that countermilling, and it allowed this to fall free of that pin and fall back to the bottom and deceive you into thinking that that pin was picked. Now, that's not bad enough, of course. You take a look at the upper pins as well. Even though they look like one piece in this one's case, pull them up here, these are in actuality also sleeved pins. So of course this goes towards the spring. You push it up there and that gets caught, and then when it gets caught on the shear line, the spring will push this back down into the shear line. So even though you might have gotten lucky and picked it, that little pin will go back down into the shear line. So requiring you really to pick each of these 2 or possibly even 3 times. So on the top, this one is a single piece pin. This one is a drunken, basically a drunken serrated 2-piece. Actually, this one is a 3-piece pin. Really cool. I'm probably going to drop it here, but all of these sleeves slide on, and of course they all break away. Oops, let me put that down so you can see what I'm doing. Come on. Trying to do this through the camera lens, not so easy. And this tiny little serrated ring, which I have just dropped somewhere. I didn't even see where that bounced to, but there's a tiny little serrated ring that goes on the end of it. So there are actually 2 pieces to this breakaway pin. Just incredible workmanship. On this pin 5, I don't know if you can see that, but the diameter on this one is very small, allowing it to flop around inside of there, and then this wafer keeps that very small end from falling back into the spring. Now, oh goodness, just almost impossible. I pulled all the springs. There are some variations in the springs, but quite honestly, that doesn't matter. This is a very difficult lock. There's that second. You guys probably saw that, but I didn't see it through the camera lens. Let me pull it out. I'm going to do this by eye, slightly off frame, so I don't fumble through the lens too much. Put that on my hand. There we go. There's that two-piece. So this bottom ring is serrated, so it breaks off once it reaches the serrations or the countermilling. And then, of course, the spring pushes that center pin back down. And then if you get lucky and pick past that, this second ring, which also has serrations, will hook up inside of that serrations or countermilling. Just stunning workmanship. The amazing part to me is this is Gilbert's first ever challenge lock. This is the first one he's ever made. Just amazing. If this one, as I said, I did get lucky and I picked Gilbert's #2 challenge lock. If I can get it up here without dropping it. I have not picked. And you see some of the same design features. Again, we have a Sargent core. Every single one of them is threaded. And then we have the core, but the difference here is that on this core, every single one of them is countermilled. Very sharp edges on both sides. So it doesn't matter which way I tried to pick it, I failed. Again, he chose a key with some challenging bitting. And then again, his imagination ran wild. Every single one of these key pins, I'll move that back up there, is a two-piece key pin. Every single one of them will get hung up. The reason I think I ultimately failed on this and probably will never get into this one is because when this serration gets caught up in the countermilling, this core will actually seize up. It will not go any further. You can't feel anything else out of it. Just amazing. All of these upper pins also have a groove in them, so if you manage to pick past the sleeve and you manage to pick past the pin, the last thing that's going to trip you up is that little groove catches on the countermilling. Just amazing. You put an awful lot of thought into both of these locks. I have not gotten this one picked. He's going to go into the naughty bucket, but the other one I'm going to reassemble and send it back out to cause someone else some Gilbert Vaquera pain. Anyway, fellas, I thought it was important to show you some of the stuff that's been a stumbling block for me lately. A number of videos have gone down, I know, but that's because this is the quality of challenge locks you guys are sending in. I am just amazed. Gilbert, thank you for the lock and, of course, all the alien technology you put in there. I think that's going to make all follow-on challenge locks even harder for us. Thanks, guys. Stay safe. Stay legal.